Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gold Off the Charts. We're here to sharpen your financial edge so you can stay ahead of the curve and build wealth with confidence. In today's video, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Let's dive straight in because we are watching history unfold, the kind of once-in-a-lifetime event that ends up in every textbook. This past Monday, gold prices took off like a rocket, smashing right through the major $4,500 psychological barrier. And it's showing no signs of slowing down. It kept surging until it hit a brand new all-time high of $4,600. Meanwhile, silver is on an absolute tear as well. Silver jumped 5% in a single day, hitting 83.93 per ounce, another record high. My inbox is blowing up with people asking, is this a bubble? Is this the blow-off top of the bull market? Look, if you think this is just a standard inflation play or a simple technical breakout, you're missing the bigger picture. This could be the largest wealth transfer in history. This isn't a bubble, it's panic. It's the sound of global capital running for cover. And there's one name behind all of this: Trump. The president is making some high-stakes, risky moves. These actions are pushing the global order toward a breaking point. Today, I'm going to break down the grand strategy Trump is playing. From the sudden moves in Venezuela to his eyes on Greenland, from pressuring the Fed to that massive $1.5 trillion defense budget. This isn't just politics, it's the biggest investment story of 2026. I'll explain why this surge in gold and silver is just the tip of the iceberg. First, let's look at Trump's recent geopolitical power moves. He's left the world's markets spinning. The first shockwave came from South America, with the news of the U.S. military operation in Venezuela to arrest Maduro. This isn't just about one leader, it's about the U.S. asserting control over the world's largest oil reserves. The message is clear: play by my rules or face the consequences. Then came the second move in the Arctic. Trump brought up buying Greenland again, but this time his tone was much more aggressive, saying the U.S. must own it entirely. It's no longer just about leasing a base. He's arguing that actual ownership is a strategic necessity. What does that tell Denmark and the rest of Europe? It says, if I want it, I'll take it. When it comes to rare earths and Arctic trade routes, even allies' sovereignty takes a backseat. The third move targets Iran and Mexico. Rhetoric against Iran is heating up, and he's put Mexico on notice, demanding total cooperation on the border and drug policy. Why is Trump playing such a dangerous game right now? Most analysts say it's for national interest, but that's just the surface. The real reason? He's diverting attention from problems at home. Look at last Friday's jobs report. The numbers missed the mark, showing the U.S. job market is cooling off fast. Recession fears are starting to haunt Wall Street again. Add to that the recent ICE shooting incident. It sparked massive protests and deepened the social divide. Plus, it's a midterm election year. Trump needs a win to distract the public from domestic turmoil. History shows that when a leader can't fix the economy, they look for a fight abroad. Creating an outside enemy is the oldest trick to unite a divided country. That's the playbook here. And the more aggressive he gets, the more gold shines as the ultimate safe haven asset. But while he's playing hardball abroad, Trump is staging a financial takeover at home. He's trying to end the Federal Reserve's independence and grab the keys to the money printer. Reports show he's already bypassing the Fed. He's intervening in the interest rate market directly. He ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. In simple terms, this is shadow QE, quantitative easing. Markets expect this to force mortgage rates down by 0.25%. Trump isn't waiting for Powell to cut rates. He's doing it himself. He even capped credit card interest rates at 10%. This is pure government interference that ignores market logic. Even scarier is how he's handling anyone who disagrees. He's using the legal system as a weapon. The Department of Justice just opened a criminal probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The why doesn't matter as much as the message. Powell hit back, saying this is happening because the Fed won't just do whatever the president wants. This, my friends, is a major red flag. When investors see a president overriding the free market and threatening the Fed chair for not printing money, the credibility of the US dollar starts to crumble. Markets hate uncertainty. If interest rates are set by political whims instead of economic data, the risk of holding dollars has to be completely priced in. That's exactly why we're seeing a massive flight out of the dollar and into gold and silver. Now, let's get to the most important and most intense part of the video. Listen closely. Looking at the 2027 budget, Trump proposed a staggering $1.5 trillion for defense. That is a 50% increase over this year. The media says the U.S. is prepping for World War III. That might be true, but as traders, we have to ask, who is paying for this? The U.S. debt is already through the roof at $38 trillion. The deficit is a black hole. Printing another $1.5 trillion would spark hyperinflation and tank Trump's ratings. So Trump designed a closed-loop funding plan. He claims this massive military expansion will be funded entirely by tariffs. Here's the plan. Slap high tariffs on global goods, especially from China, is greater than rake in massive revenue, is greater than use that cash to fund the military and pay down debt. He thinks he's killing three birds with one stone. Weakening rivals, boosting the military, and not asking taxpayers for a dime. It sounds like a plan, but there's a fatal flaw. That flaw is currently in the hands of the Supreme Court. This is the judicial black swan you need to watch. A lawsuit challenging the legality of these tariffs has reached the High Court. The big question: did the president overstep his power by bypassing Congress to tax imports? If the court rules against him, it's a disaster. Not only would tariffs stop, but the government could owe $150 billion in tax refunds to corporations. If that happens, his military fund vanishes instantly. Without tariff cash, that $1.5 trillion budget is just a dream. Then the U.S. faces a choice: default on its debts or print money until it's worthless. Either way, it's a nuclear event for global markets. Most big banks think the court will reach a middle ground that limits the president's power without totally killing the tariffs. But even a maybe creates massive uncertainty. As long as the legal side is shaky, that $1.5 trillion military budget is a check that might bounce. So, why take such a huge risk? Why pick a fight with the military-industrial complex and the courts? Because Trump isn't looking at spreadsheets, he's looking at hard assets that will define the next 50 years of American power. Keep this in mind. That $1.5 trillion isn't just for defense, it's the seed money for a global resource grab. Look at the high-risk areas on his list. It all makes sense now. This isn't a defense budget, it's a shopping list. Venezuela is first. The goal is simple: control the oil. The U.S. has plenty of shale oil, but it's light. U.S. refineries need heavy oil, and Venezuela has the world's biggest supply. Controlling Venezuela means controlling the energy flow of the Western Hemisphere. Then there's the Panama Canal. Trump wants to take back control of this global bottleneck. In a wartime economy, whoever controls the canal controls the trade of copper, lithium, and food. Analysts say there's now a 35% chance of U.S. intervention. Then there's Greenland. It's not just an ice cube. It's the only way for the U.S. to break China's grip on rare earth minerals. Greenland has massive deposits. It also has world-class uranium and controls Arctic shipping. That $1.5 trillion is the muscle used to secure these physical assets. This explains why gold and copper are mooning. When superpowers start using force to grab oil, minerals, and trade routes, every country starts to panic. Everyone is hoarding resources and locking down their borders. This is creating massive shortages and breaking the global supply chain. In this new era of might makes right, the purchasing power of the US dollar, which is just paper, is being questioned. Real value has shifted to the factories that build tanks and the minerals buried in the ground. That is the hard truth behind the policy. Moving away from finance, expanding by force, using tariffs for cash, and seizing resources. It's a wartime economic loop. It feels heavy, doesn't it? When security becomes more important than profits, the old way of valuing stocks starts to fail. This changes how we should invest. Whether it's for Trump's re-election or U.S. interests, the signal to the world is loud and clear. The rule-based world order is over. When the strongest nation plays by its own rules, the old systems that protected everyone else are gone. As the U.S. stops being the policeman of the world, the trust in the dollar as the world's bank account is fading fast. With massive debt and global tension, gold is the only insurance policy in a chaotic world. Even if the dollar survives, experts see another 10% upside for gold. I'm telling you, the gold bull market is officially here. This recent jump isn't the peak, it's the starting gun. Because of this, countries are stockpiling materials. Prices for military metals like tungsten and cobalt are sky high because of this safety-first mentality. Meanwhile, central banks are de-dollarizing, which changes how gold is priced. As hard assets beat tech stocks, we are entering the era of physical commodities. Besides gold, I want you to watch one specific metal: copper. Copper might even outperform silver in the coming months. Why? Because copper isn't just for wiring anymore, it's a strategic asset. Is copper expensive at $13,000? If you're just building a house, yes. But if you're building missiles and AI data centers in a fragmented world, we might just be getting started. In 2026, the identity of copper has completely shifted. For a century, copper was the king of the economic cycle. We used it to track housing and appliances. But in a wartime economy, national security has replaced commerce as the main driver for copper. Back in June 2025, the US government officially labeled copper a critical mineral, noting that relying on imports is a security risk. This is a paradigm shift. When a metal becomes a weapon, its price isn't set by supply and demand, it's set by a safety premium. This is a qualitative change in how we price things. When a commodity is viewed as a weapon, its price follows the safety premium logic. To wrap up, gold hitting $4,600 and silver reaching record highs isn't a fluke, it's the direct result of Trump's America First aggression. Between Shadow QE, the $1.5 trillion resource plan, and the breakdown of global order, all signs point to one thing: the world is getting more dangerous, and your assets need to get harder. In this macro environment, gold's rise is almost a certainty. And as a strategic resource, copper's potential is just starting to explode. It's the best of times and the worst of times. If you're holding overvalued tech or just sitting on cash, you're at risk. But if you understand the trend and move into hard assets, this is a historic chance to level up your wealth. Just a reminder, this analysis is based on my personal research and market analysis to help you cut through the noise in the news. It's meant to show you the truth behind the headlines, not as direct financial advice. Everyone's risk level is different, so please do your own homework. That's all for today. If you found this helpful or if it helped you make sense of this crazy market, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe to Gold Off the Charts, and share this with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.